The reason why I mentioned that is because your resume, as well as your LinkedIn profile, is part of your personal brand. Now let's dive into part 1A, how to create an effective resume. What do you think is the purpose of a resume? Can you type your answer in the chat, please? I'll stop sharing just so I can see. What do you think is the purpose of a resume? Type your answers in the chat. To promote yourself, that's Zoe. Thank you. Any other answers? Brief overview of what you can offer. That's right, Mikai. To present your competencies, says Mark. Hold your achievement to show off your skills, capabilities of the applicant. For employment, yeah, to show why you should be hired. All right, while you guys are typing, let me continue sharing my screen. Thank you for being interactive. So these are the three purposes of a resume. To introduce yourself to employers, to present your qualifications, and actually the primary reason of a resume is to secure an interview. So it's like when you're watching television, there will be ads there, and the call to action really is to get you to buy their products and services. For a resume, the purpose, the number one purpose really, is to secure an interview. How many pages should a fresh graduate's resume consist of? I want to see your answers in the chat, please. Sophie says 1 to 2. Andrea says 3. Angela 2. Okay, a lot of 1s and 2s. 1 page is possible. And that is right. Actually, ideally, it's supposed to be only 1 page for a fresh graduate. Let me hide the controls again. Okay. Only 1 page resume for fresh graduates, ideally. The purpose of that is to highlight only your most important skills and qualifications. So the shorter, the better, so that they will be able to see what they're supposed to see and schedule you for an interview. These are the fonts, and we're gonna talk about a little bit about the psychology of fonts. Let me try to hide this control panel again. So it says here, for sans serif related fonts, this one here says Clear, Libra. It says modern, sleek, stable, clean. For the serif ones, it's traditional, mature, formal, reliable. For the cursive text, they are expressive, creative, warmth, unique, funky, bold, strong, consistent, objective, neutral. Now, in terms of what font style you need to use in your resume, the safe font styles to use are actually these ones above. And here's another slide to prove that point. This one came from Monster, one of the famous job portals. Hide floating controls. Okay. You see here the 10 best fonts for your resume: Calibri, Times New Roman, Arial, Verdana, Cambria, Garamond, Wocanticua, Trebuchet MS, Arial Narrow, and DDOT. Now, when you go to other websites online, there are also other schools of thought regarding font styles. They would say that some of these are way too traditional and way too boring. And there are other suggestions, including Poppins. I think Canva has that. And I think Google Suite Apps also has Poppins. I also use that now and then for legal documents. Now let's dissect this sample template from JobStreet. Let's study this sample resume. And let's start off with the email. So your email address should be professional sounding. it should not be the ones you use when you were in high school or college, for example, Sad Boy 2000 or anything like that. It has to be your first name and your last name. Or if it's already taken in Gmail, use your last name and your first name and number one, for example. Or you can also use your Enduron or your school email if you regularly check that. Because remember, your potential employers, whether that's for internship or for full-time employment, will be sending you an email. Then you can include either one phone number, but what I do with my resume is I include two because I worry that sometimes the recruiter might have poor signal reception for example, Smart or Globe. So what I do is I always put two types of numbers there, one Smart and one Globe. And then you have your name there in big bold letters. Here, instead of course, what you can do is you can write the position that you're applying for. For example, multimedia artist intern. For the address, this is uncommon, but this is what I'm doing right now. I'm just putting my barangay and then my city. But you still have the option to put your complete address there. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you're just trying to get an interview. You're not yet filling up their whatever forms they require for already full-time employees, right? So you may opt to choose to put your complete address there or just your barangay and your city. You don't have to necessarily put your date of birth there. And the reason why I said that is because some people can be discriminating in terms of age when they're supposed to be open to all kinds of ages and all kinds of genders. The career objective will dive into this later on in more detail. And as you see here, John David wrote his technical skills first before the education because that's what's more important. Like, what are the competencies that your future employer would benefit from you? And then he also wrote his personal skills here. Example, excellent written and verbal communication skills, highly organized and efficient, ability to work independently or as part of a team, proven leadership skills, and ability to motivate. Now, you guys can maximize Google and you will be able to see numbers, certain sources of information in regard to the type of keywords that you can use. You can use those words in your resume because there are some active words that you can use that would actually attract your potential employer to call you. Then the education here, if you notice what this guy wrote is just the college education. For some, actually anything below high school is supposed to be, you're not supposed to put there, just your college education. Or if you're currently taking a master's, yes, put that there by all means. And then the guy also included the achievements and the responsibilities. Actually, what he wrote here are just achievements and maybe an example of the type of internship in the Guardian student magazine. He also wrote pre-professional experience. I believe this is like an internship or maybe a part-time job that he has had. Is there anything else that you could add here if this is your resume? I will stop sharing and we'll try to go back to the chat. If that's your resume, what would you like to add? So we said contact preferences, maybe a photo. Okay, let me address those two concerns first. Character references, actually, they say that that's not really necessary and just a filler because your employers, once you're hired, will ask that from you anyway. For a photo, this many Filipinos, many recruiters are still very traditional in regard to this. They still prefer to have a photo. But what we want to avoid here is that we don't want people to be discriminating because of the way you look. So for me, whenever I apply, I don't put my photo anymore. And for the intern applications that I have been using, that I've been receiving from different schools, they most of them don't have photos anymore. Nicole said, "Hey Nicole, you'll see Nicole's resume later on after this slide." Nicole says photo is okay for industries that requires of it, like the hotel industry. That's right. Thank you for pointing that out, Nicole. Also for sales, for customer facing, um, yeah, photo is really essential because when you're handsome or when you're beautiful and when you're facing people, it kind of warms people's heart and makes people listen to you. Let me continue sharing my screen. All right, and let me hide this control again. All right, so this is how Nicole's resume looks like right now. She has her name there, contact details, education, skill summary, languages, experiences, organizations, certificates and awards. She also included character reference. Again, it's not bad to put your character reference. It's up to you. It's your call. She also wrote her certificates and awards here. And for your guys' information, Nicole actually was my first multimedia artist intern in HR. Oops, sorry about that. Let's go to the career objective now. So let's talk about the career objective part. So you see here that the texts are underlined green. It says nurse, RN is registered nurse with 5+ years of experience providing quality care to a wide variety of patients. That's the experience plus duties or skills. The next part is the qualities and qualifications. The person who wrote this says possess a master's qualification in nursing and currently focus on earning doctorate degree in this field. And then the yellow part is how you can help the company or the business, aiming to leverage my experience and knowledge to effectively fill the nursing position at your hospital. Now,